Time Scholarship. That's stratford.edu/code.
Good morning, America. The Me Too movement's golden moment.
This is ours to share. Wow, the power of women.
Hollywood taking on the sexual harassment scandal head on at the Golden Globes. The red carpet decked in black. Oprah defining the night.
The new day is on the horizon.
Bringing the audience to its feet, setting a new tone for Hollywood and men and women around the globe.
Travel nightmare. A major terminal at JFK Airport shut down after a pipe burst from the freezing cold, flooding the terminal. More than 100 flights canceled, luggage piles up, and now a new storm is moving in out west. California bracing for flooding, snow, and dangerous winds. Bannon backs down. President Trump's former chief strategist apologizes for his comments about Donald Trump Jr. in that explosive book, as the president defends his own mental fitness, calling himself really smart, a very stable genius.
All that as we take you behind the scenes of Hollywood's big night. From Oprah to Sterling K. Brown, plus Lady Bird and Big Little Lies. We're backstage with some of the night's biggest winners. What Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, and more are saying only on GMA.
Good morning, America! Time's up! Time's up!
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
We do say good morning, America, and we hope you had a great weekend. But what a night for Hollywood. Women and men taking the red carpet, wearing black, showing solidarity, passionately making a huge statement at the Golden Globes, calling for an end to harassment and gender inequality.
And the passion reached its peak with Oprah, first black woman to get the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Globes. Now, at the beginning of the night, Seth Meyers joked about her running for president. After that acceptance speech, so many on Twitter endorsed the idea. Oprah 2020, the meme of the night. And of course, it had the whole audience in the Beverly Hilton up on their feet.
It truly was trending. You see Common there among those on their feet. There were so many incredible moments as the award season finally kicked off last night. Lara was there for it all, and she's up bright and early this morning there in L.A. for us. Good morning, Lara.
Good morning to you, Robin. It really was an historic night at the Golden Globes. The men and women of Hollywood coming together in solidarity, saying time's up on inequality and abuse. Take a look.
Ladies and remaining gentlemen,
Seth Meyers didn't miss a beat.
it's 2018, marijuana is finally allowed and sexual harassment finally isn't.
The Golden Globes host addressing the Me Too and Time's Up movements head on.
For the male nominees in the room tonight, this is the first time in 3 months it won't be terrifying to hear your name read out loud.
Refusing to ignore the elephant in the room.
Harvey Weinstein isn't here tonight. But don't worry, he'll be back in 20 years when he becomes the first person ever booed during the In Memoriam. It'll sound like that.
Even setting himself up.
Do you want to do one?
For some lighthearted jabs.
Yeah, I'll do them, but I don't need your help.
Yeah, but no, I do the setup and then you do the punchline.
Oh, is that how it works? You're explaining something I already know. Is this the mansplaining part of the evening?
In a night that delivered on its promise not to be business as usual, Lady Bird won Best Motion Picture Comedy. But its director, Greta Gerwig, was not even in the running for Best Director. Natalie Portman pointing out not a single woman director was nominated.
And here are the all-male nominees.
And the women of Big Little Lies stole the night, echoing the Time's Up theme.
Nicole Kidman!
Laura Dern. Reese, come here and get this.
Okay. Time is up. We see you, we hear you, and we will tell your stories. Thank you.
It was also a night of historic wins.
Nominees for Best Actor in a TV Series Drama are
Sterling K. Brown, the first black actor to take home the honor in television drama.
I'm being seen for who I am, and it makes it that much more difficult to dismiss me or dismiss anybody who looks like me. So thank you, Dan.
You're the first African-American man to win Best Actor in a Drama in the history of the Golden Globes.
Crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That must mean a great deal to you.
It does. I was blown away, first and foremost, and now I'm just humbled.
But it was none other than Oprah Winfrey, accepting the Cecil B. DeMille Lifetime Achievement Award, who may have best summed up what the night was all about.
Speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have. And I'm especially proud and inspired by all the women who have felt strong enough and empowered enough to speak up and share their personal stories. But it's not just a story affecting the entertainment industry. It's one that transcends any culture, geography, race, religion, politics, or workplace. For too long, women have not been heard or believed if they dared to speak their truth to the power of those men. But their time is up. Their time is up.
After Oprah's speech, Oprah 2020, as you said, George, trending on Twitter, and overnight, her longtime partner Stedman Graham saying a presidential run is a possibility, telling the LA Times, and I quote, "It's up to the people, but she would absolutely do it." I can tell you both, after that speech, she had quite a few people in that room saying they sure did like the sound of President Winfrey. George and Robin, back to you in New York.
Just incredible. I know Oprah says she has no plans to run. That's what she told Bloomberg overnight, but not so far-fetched.
We'll see. We're going to have much more backstage with the night's big winners just ahead.
And now to that travel nightmare that's affecting flights all over the world. A water main break shut down one of the terminals at New York's Kennedy Airport. It canceled and delayed flights, creating more trouble after that monster storm stranded so many passengers. Look at the bags piled up there at JFK. Our senior transportation correspondent David Curley is on the scene. Good morning, David.
Good morning, George. It is going to be another day of struggles here at JFK. The airport still hasn't recovered from the storm, and that is unacceptable, according to the head of the Port Authority. And then the pipe breaks, making it a true nightmare in the terminal behind me. Just when it seemed it couldn't get worse, that water pipe at JFK burst, apparently from the freezing cold. 3 inches of water flooding part of the main international terminal. 2/3 of overseas flights affected. Delta deciding to divert jets to Atlanta, sending international passengers through customs there, and then fly to JFK as a domestic flight. But even before the water failed, JFK was a mess 2 days after the bomb cyclone. An aviation source telling ABC News that many airlines tried to recover from the canceled Friday flights and run a regular schedule too. For some, that meant doubling the number of flights, and there just weren't enough gates, and everything slowed to a crawl.
The bottom line is that the overall performance in terms of getting passengers to gates, getting them unloaded in a timely fashion, was completely unacceptable.
Thousands of bags attest to that, as does Lily Crawford, who's seen it all. The Thursday storm, the slowdown, the broken pipe, and she's still waiting to fly to China.
Nobody can tell me, and nobody wants to give me an answer because they'll know they'll be wrong.
The problem here at JFK, there are more than 100 airlines here, and most other airports have a half dozen or a dozen. The problem was a breakdown in communication, George. Passengers will pay for that again today. Lily says she's going to get on a flight later today.
No, good for her, but you can see the problems cascade. Okay, David, thanks very much.
All right, George, as David just mentioned, the deep freeze likely to blame for that water main break. But there is some good news this morning. That relentless, record-breaking cold finally coming to an end. Jen, you don't have to tell you, 13 days here in New York City of below freezing temperatures. Longest stretch since what, 1961?
1961. And a place like Raleigh, North Carolina, that you think would be above freezing has been sub-freezing for almost 200 hours. They're shattering records there, too. And this morning, a little price to pay for the thaw-out. We have snow and ice falling from parts of eastern Ohio through western Pennsylvania. Schools are closed just south of Louisville thanks to the ice. There are plenty of accidents on the roads in northern Alabama. And look at this video out of Missouri. This is what it looks like when you hit the pink on the radar. That's how I attribute when people say, what do those colors mean? That means pink on radar when you slip around on roads like that. And then you've got that large stretch of flash flood warnings in Louisiana and New Orleans, and then it'll come here this afternoon and evening right before we warm up to freezing. Just look out in the evening commute from Philadelphia up through New York City. Robin?
Just what you said, warm up to freezing. All right, thank you.
Okay, Robin, we're going to switch gears now and get the latest fallout from that bombshell book about the White House, Fire and Fury. #1 bestseller on Amazon now. It's already been reprinted several times. And now Trump's former top strategist, Steve Bannon, is trying to walk back some of his most explosive comments in the book. Our chief White House correspondent, John Carl, in Washington with the story. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. Well, it took several days, but now Steve Bannon is apologizing, or at least sort of apologizing, for some of the comments that he made to the author of that book, Michael Wolff.
First, the president declared Steve Bannon had lost his mind. Now the White House is slamming the former chief strategist as angry and vindictive.
It reads like an angry, vindictive person spouting off to a highly discreditable author.
After Bannon's comments dominated the news for days, he is finally expressing regret, but only for what he said about the president's eldest son. Donald Trump Jr. is both a patriot and a good man, Bannon said in a written statement. He has been relentless in his advocacy for his father and the agenda that has helped turn our country around. That's a far cry from what Bannon told author Michael Wolff, specifically about the Trump Tower meeting that Trump Jr. set up last year along with Jared Kushner and then campaign manager Paul Manafort, with a Russian lawyer said to have dirt on Hillary Clinton. In the book, Bannon is quoted suggesting the meeting was treasonous and that congressional investigators are, quote, going to crack Don Jr. like an egg on national TV. Now Bannon is saying he has regrets.
He doesn't use the word sorry, he doesn't use the word apology, but he's trying to walk things back, trying to preserve his viability as a leader of the conservative movement.
The sort of mea culpa comes after the president blasted Wolff and his, quote, fake book, and came up with a new nickname for Bannon over the weekend.
I guess Sloppy Steve brought him into the White House quite a bit, and it was one of those things. That's why Sloppy Steve is now looking for a job.
The president is also responding to suggestions in the book that even some of his own top advisors consider him dumb and crazy. The president tweeting, quote, throughout my life, my two greatest assets have been mental stability and being, like, really smart, calling himself, quote, a genius and a very stable genius at that.
Bannon doesn't specifically dispute anything in the book, and he doesn't apologize for many of his other disparaging comments, including calling the president's daughter, Ivanka, quote, dumb as a brick. The quasi-apology, George, is not going to go very far here at the White House, where Bannon was once such a major force, but he is now seen as a traitor.
Yeah, he sure is. Okay, John, meantime, this is not from the book, but Axios is now reporting new insight into the president's schedule behind the scenes.
Yes, Axios got a look at the president's private schedule. It's not the one they make public, but the one that guides his day. And they're seeing that he is now beginning his day at about 11 o'clock coming into the Oval Office and has big blocks of time for what is called executive time. Not a lot of meetings, at least not on the schedule. And, George, the president does have a busy day and a long day. Today, however, he is going to Nashville. He's going to Atlanta, where he'll be attending the National College Football Championship game.
Okay, John, thanks very much. More on this now from our chief political analyst, Matthew Dowd, our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Matt, let me begin with you. So Steve Bannon clearly paying a price for his comments to Michael Wolff, but he's not the only one in the book with these revelations. And what you read on the page there is what we've been hearing from behind the scenes for a long time.
I have to say, every time I hear stable genius, I smile because it feels like it's Tom Smith, the horse trainer from Seabiscuit, when you talk about a stable genius. I think this is an unbelievable breakup we've seen in this. I think that we haven't seen a breakup in this kind of celebrity sort of thing, and probably since Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. It's probably going to take years to fix. And I think the president is, as you watched him, his behavior has only confirmed what all of those people on the record and off the record said in the book.
All these questions about the president's mental capacity, Dan Abrams. And Michael Wolff, the author, said yesterday that some of these aides even talk about invoking the 25th Amendment, but that's pretty far-fetched.
Let's be clear. As a legal matter, the 25th Amendment is a liberal pipe dream, and for two reasons. Number one, the amendment was enacted post-John Kennedy being shot, and the fear was there's going to be a president who's in a coma. What are we going to do? Now, some are going to say, this is the same. Okay. As a procedural matter, it's harder than impeachment.
Right. You have to get a majority of the cabinet first, and then two-thirds.
First, you have to get the vice president. Yeah. Then you have to get the majority of the cabinet. If the president then objects to that, you have to get two-thirds of the House and the Senate. With impeachment, you only need the majority of the House. So if the president is going to be kicked out of office based on a constitutional principle, it's going to be impeachment. It's not going to be the 25th Amendment.
Meantime, one of the things we're seeing is, though, new reporting also about Robert Mueller and his special counsel investigation, focusing more on obstruction of justice. That's going to raise the question of, is Mueller going to ask the president for an interview? Will the president grant it?
I think Mueller is going to ask the president for an interview, and I don't think the president's going to grant it. My guess is that his lawyers are going to offer to submit some sort of written statement, something that assures them that he didn't do anything wrong. That's not what Mueller wants. Mueller doesn't want some statement from the president. He wants to be able to sit across the table from him or have one of his investigators do it, ask him questions, see what the responses are, follow up with additional questions, and be able to ask about any topic that they want. In my view, there's no way that's going to happen. We'll see.
Before we go, Matt, I got to ask you, Oprah 2020, it was all over Twitter last night after that speech. She says she's not interested at all, but if she were to get in, the next day she'd probably be leading the fight for the Democratic nomination.
She'd be leading the Democratic ticket, and I've learned in the last 18 months, 2 years, never to discount anything and anybody running in this. I think Oprah has to decide is where her power is, president or as a pastor of the country, and she has to make that decision.
We will be watching. Thanks to you both very much. Robin?
Okay, George, and now we're going to move on because President Trump also is closely watching high-stakes talks between North and South Korea. Trump expressing hope something good will come out of this meeting amid tensions over the North's nuclear program. Our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Fraditz, is in Seoul, South Korea, with more. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Robin. These will be the first high-level talks between the North and South in more than 2 years. The talks will be held at the so-called Truce Village on the border between North and South Korea. The topic of the meeting will be limited to the North's participation in the upcoming Olympic Games, but it is an important step. On the face of it, these talks have nothing to do with the nuclear standoff between the U.S. and North Korea. But on Saturday, despite what he has said in the past, President Trump said that he would be willing to talk by phone to Kim Jong-un, a statement clarified by UN Ambassador Nikki Haley on This Week with George.
What he has basically said is, yes, there could be a time where we talk to North Korea, but a lot of things have to happen before that actually takes place. They have to stop testing. They have to be willing to talk about banning their nuclear weapons.
Kim says they are not willing to do that, but it is doubtful he will test a missile in the next few days since it would jeopardize the talks about the Olympics. But there is no telling what he will do once the talks are over. Robin?
There's always no telling what he's going to do. Would you allow me to switch gears here for a minute? Who that?
Go to it.
Who that? Who that say they're going to beat them Saints? I have to do this because it was a heart-pounding finish. The Saints, my beloved New Orleans Saints, taking on the Carolina Panthers. And Carolina still had a chance with time running out, but this sack sealed the deal. And New Orleans marching on to Minnesota. Yes, they got to face the Vikings in the next round of the playoffs. And like we need a reason to celebrate when you're part of Who Dat Nation.
Here in New York?
Did I take to the streets? It looked too cold to take to the streets here in New York.
Okay, let's go back to Ginger. Major storm coming to California, too.
Yes, and you'd think, well, maybe that sounds good for the fires. Well, the fires are out, and you don't need 1 to 2 inch rainfall rates, and that's what they're preparing for. Santa Barbara County, you can see them sandbagging, getting ready for the heavy rains. In the Sierra, it'll be snow, which is good to pack that in, but it's all going to come overnight tonight through tomorrow very quickly. Let's get to the select cities now, brought to you by Downey.
Used to first dates. You look amazing.
And you look amazingly comfortable. When your V-neck looks more like a U-neck, that's when you know it's half-washed. Add Downey to keep your collars from stretching. Unlike detergent alone, Downey conditions to smooth and strengthen fibers. So next time, don't half-wash it. Downey, and it's done. Proud partner of the Olympic Winter Games.
Hey, good morning, Washington. A winter weather advisory in effect from 1 o'clock this afternoon through 9 o'clock this evening. We'll have the potential for some slick spots. Here's the potential here. It's for freezing rain. No snow really expected. We'll have the potential for some slick areas around the D.C. metro. Have that frozen ground. High temperatures today only making it to the mid-30s, mainly to the south of town, mainly around the freezing mark otherwise. The next 3 days, though, we'll have some nice conditions coming in with highs approaching the 50-degree mark.
Coming up, going to go back to Lara, taking us backstage at the Golden Globes, what the stars of Big Little Lies are saying about the times of movement.